Okay, so just a quick first, good morning to you all. And reminder, we have this week, then we have Monday, then we are off to next Tuesday because it's election day. And I think I've asked you all this before. Any of my seniors or any of y'all eligible to vote yet? Caitlin, you're a senior, aren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm still 17.
Oh, bummer. Tyrone, are you a senior?
Yeah.
Are you eligible to vote yet? Are you 18?
Mm-hmm.
You are 18?
Yeah.
Oh, you plan to vote this year?
I'm gonna try to vote.
Okay, exciting. That is exciting. I still remember I was able to vote my senior year of high school. So that's exciting, Tyrone. Okay, wonderful. So just a reminder, so next week we will only have Zoom Monday and Thursday. So I want to go over, I'm still filling it out, but the majority of it, go on, there we go. The majority of our week at a glance is up. I'm going to touch briefly on peer review, but I'm going to post more information on it in Canvas for you to look over. So let me stick with that for just a minute. So today is your last chance. If you have not turned in your mood project yet, your photography project, today is your last chance to do that before that assignment closes out. If you've had some issue or something and haven't, please get in touch with me. I haven't checked over the weekend to see if any more were turned in. So if you haven't, go ahead and get that turned in. And then I am going to, in the discussions, post the links to everybody's. And then we're going to do a peer review just in the discussions. So right now I'm just, because I really want to get to our assignment, I'm going to just kind of verbally touch on it. So when I say praise and polish, it's a very constructive way to give feedback. And I recommend you do it with your own work. Look at it, tell yourself, okay, I like what I did. Here's what next time I could do this better or try this. So that's what I'm looking for. When you look at your peers' work, and I think I touched on this a little bit last week, that you're going to get ideas. Like, that's why I say, always look at other people's work. That's why I hope you've taken the time on some of the things where I've put the dig deeper elements. It's just always good to look at other people's work, not only famous people that I've posted, but, amateur work, your peers. That's where because we all come with our unique perspective and unique ideas. So when I say praise and polish, I want you to look at the work and find at least one thing that you like. Oh, I like your subject matter. I like how you framed it. I like your location, something that you like, what they did, okay? And then polish is not, it's what we would call, you may have also heard, constructive criticism. So it's not, we're not being mean. We're not being critical. We're just being like, hey, okay, that's good, but maybe on your framing, it looks like you maybe cut their head off, or I found this a little distracting. Could you have done this? Now, again, remember, with our artistic endeavors, a lot of times it's subjective, okay? So maybe you purposely meant to crop something a certain way for effect. But, we still take people's, because our audience, our viewers, we want to get feedback from them, because what if you're doing something that you constantly think is super cool? And if you were producing something, as career-wise for an audience where feedback matters, like TV ratings, TV has ratings. If your ratings are bad, you don't have advertisers, certain things like that. Or if you were producing a photography or video for a client and they weren't happy, that's when you need to know these things. But as always, with your personal projects, they're just for your eyes only or friends. That's what makes you happy. But that in mind, just give constructive feedback of what someone could have tried, or and then again too, if you have questions like, oh, that was kind of cool, how did you do that, please post that as well. So I will have that posted by the end of the day. I'll get those links in there, and then I'll just have a little bit more information on praise and polish with some suggestions. So look over that. It's going to count. I say due tomorrow. I'm just making you aware of it because I'm going to get it posted tonight. And if you want to, I hope we'll really take the time to look at each other's work. But I'm going to count that in tomorrow in the bell ringer. So if you are bogged down with homework tonight, or you only get to a few of them tonight, while we're waiting, like we just spent those few minutes waiting this morning for everyone to get here and me to take attendance, it's going to be in your bell ringer category tomorrow. Okay. So with that, we are moving into 6-word stories, which is going to also lead into our first video. Yay, video. So it's good, which is called 6 Words, 6 Shots video. So before I move on, has anyone, you can feel free to comment in the chat, has anyone ever heard of or know what a 6-word story is? It's sometimes called a 6-word memoir. Has anyone heard of those before?
No.
Anyone else heard of it? Okay. This is one of my absolute favorite projects because if you like, I almost consider it kind of like a brain teaser, almost coming up with the 6-word stories. So I'm going to stop rattling on and just go ahead and show you, because otherwise I'll talk about forever. So, and I forgot to move this over, so I'll get this all published in our Canvas class. Are y'all seeing that my screen share still? One Life, 6 words?
Yes.
Okay, I always worry when I switch tabs. So, Ernest Hemingway, famous author that you may have heard of, hopefully in your English classes. This is a legend. No one knows for sure if it's true, but it's a legend that one time he was challenged to tell a story in just 6 words. And his story was, for sale, baby shoes never worn. So think about that for a minute. For sale, baby shoes never worn. So what possibly does that, what do you think that, because that tells a story in just 6 words. What possibly could that story be?
That maybe the baby had passed away, possibly.
Yeah.
And maybe was never able to wear them.
Yep, that's one. Yeah, good. That's how
The baby grew too fast and never got to wear his shoes.
Yep. Any mom who's had a million baby showers will tell you. People, like I got my cousin, my girl cousin is like 2 years older than me. She had so many baby clothes that's all I wore when I was an infant, was her hand-me-downs. My parents didn't even have to buy me clothes because she had so many. My mom, I remember telling this story, half of them still had tags on them because they gave her so many. She had so many clothes, because that's whenever people, I try not to give my friends baby clothes because, they get so many from people because they're cute and people want to give clothes, but you get so many, it's very possible baby never wore them. So those are 2 options of what that story could be. But it's up for interpretation. But do you see how he did? For sale, baby shoes never worn. Just 6 words. And that potentially, like if the baby passed away, maybe it was a miscarriage, maybe it was passed on birth, maybe it died as a young infant. Potentially that could be a very, very sad story. So, yeah, these are just examples of other options. You know, could the baby gone barefoot? You know, who's telling the story? The mother, the father? Maybe it's a grown adult looking back at their childhood. You know, what is it? I mean, that's a lot. You can really unpack a lot of information just from these 6 simple words. So that's the setup. This is how this is a project that's really kind of taken off. I've got the author, there's a whole book about it. This guy, and actually has several books. I have one of them that he just does a compilation of 6-word stories. That's all the book is all the different stories with different prompts. So we're going to dive into this more. And at the end of this lesson, you're going to be creating your own 6-word story. And that's going to be your first video. We're going to turn it into 6 words, 6 shots. So we're going to learn how to, and that's really the basis of any of our video productions that we do. I'll go ahead and throw this out there. I'll talk about more later. But when I was in college, I joke that 4 years of college, my one lesson, my one takeaway for that education was say dog, see dog. Think about that for a minute. Say dog, see dog. So that's what one of my professor, he was actually one of the anchors at the TV station, one of the TV stations now. So he just taught one class and it was writing for broadcast. And that just sunk in my head. And what it means is if I'm talking about dogs, I better see video of dogs. Don't talk about dogs and show me cats. It won't, there'll be a disconnect because you'll be like, he's talking about, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes when I'm watching any news programs or anything, I'm like, when they're talking about something, but what they're talking about, I'm not seeing video of. And it's just like, I'm like, that doesn't match. The best example I have was from my first job. We had a blooper reel. So anytime there were bloopers, someone would pull them off and we had this whole compilation. And the anchor was reading a story about a protest in some, distant country, far, far away. And it was this man that was on the ground and all these people around him were like beating on him, like, with sticks and stuff. And the anchor said, about 36 mourners gathered peacefully. It's like, no, that guy's getting hit with sticks. That's not a peaceful gathering. So disconnect. What I'm heard is not what I see. So this is going to be a fun video and a good way to start out our video production process because you're just worrying about 6 shots. So let's get to our PowerPoint. So another reason why I love this lesson is, again, it gets to the heart of what we do with our video storytelling, and that is writing simplistically. Right, and you hear me all year, write how you talk, not super formal and super long, conversational. So 6-word stories is a great way to, as we say it more with less. Say more with less. Because sometimes you can see people go on and on and on and on and on, and they're rambling. They haven't said a word. So this is really a great way to learn how to do that. So again, this recap started in the 1920s with Hemingway. Already talked about what it means. So brevity, again, concise, exact use of words, very succinct. And then this is the man that, let's see if we can do this. Okay, do y'all see the real PowerPoint now? Let me do this.
Yes.
Let me do that. I'm going to do it this way. It'll show up even better. You see it now?
Yes.
Yay, okay. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so this guy, Larry Smith, is the one that kind of got this whole 6-word story thing going, and he's become quite successful with it. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay, you see the video?
I've been obsessed with belts for a long time. I wear a belt every day, and there was like 3 things that I always...
Is that video showing?
Yes.
Thank you. So just listen to him. He really explains this well. I think it'll help a lot.
Thank you so much. The 6-word story, the places 6 words has taken me and I hope take you, go many places. Into prisons, schools, therapy groups, but it always starts with my grandfather on the Atlantic City Boardwalk. I used to love to walk down the boardwalk with my grandfather, Morris Smith, who everyone called Smitty. He came over from Russia in 1911 when he was 4 years old. He was a small town pharmacist. And as we walked down the Atlantic City Boardwalk, the problem was we never got very far. Because my grandfather, the original Smitty, stopped to talk to everyone. People from his pharmacy, customers, friends from college, or new people he met on the boardwalk where he was the unofficial mayor of his section. One day as we walked down the boardwalk, I realized what the kids call an epic fail. I didn't actually know my grandfather's own story. And I said, Smitty, tell me your story. Start from the beginning. And he said something fascinating. My story? Who would be interested in that? This great storyteller, that he thought his own story was not a life worth recounting. He was too ordinary. So I tricked him. I said, look, I have this new video camera. Let me try to figure out how to use this thing. Just talk for a couple of minutes. 2.5 hours later, my grandfather stopped talking. What I learned that day was that everyone has a story. We know this. But you have to remember to ask. From there, I was on a quest to help other people tell their stories. And by the way, we're in 2006 now. Pre-Instagram, Facebook was just kicking in. And how could I do that? Well, I left what I like to call my fancy magazine career, which was great. I worked at places you heard of, places that have gone into business. Start my own thing. Smith Magazine. Tagline, everyone has a story. Inspiration, my grandfather Smitty, this great storyteller. Mascot, chicken. Why? Well, Smith Magazine was going to be a place where anyone could come, non-fancy writers, people who've never written before, and share a personal story. The perspective of Smith Magazine was what I call the chicken's eye view, the little guy making sense from the ground up. Not, the eagle at 10,000 feet. An important perspective, but not the perspective that I was interested in. We had story projects, different topics, life-changing moments, put them over here. Did you have a breakup, put it here? Different topics, and people liked it. But then one topic resonated like none other. And that topic was inspired by another man, Ernest Hemingway. As the story goes, Hemingway was once challenged in a bar bet to write a whole novel in just 6 words. He wrote, possibly, For Sale, Baby Shoes, Never Worn, the 6-word novel. And I said to my community, hey, let's give this 6-word novel a personal twist. That's what we're doing here at Smith Mag. Write the 6-word story of your life, called it the 6-word memoir, and I figured we'd get a few in and be a fun another part of Smith. Went home for Thanksgiving. The next day when I checked my email, 10,000 6-word memoirs had come in. And there were things like this. It turned out the constraint didn't stop creativity, it fueled creativity. People loved having a parameter. Exactly. Of course we want to tell the stories of our lives, but sometimes we need a little bit of help. And they told these stories without apology, with humor, and with honesty. It's Father's Day today, and what's interesting about the site is you can go on the site today, you'll see all these coming in about dads. And when something horrible happens in Charleston, you'll see that. Sometimes before I wake up in the morning, I look up my own site and I know what's happened the night before. And the thing is, it was a way for people to talk about their own lives. Most of us aren't getting called up by the New York Times or the Journal or on Twitter necessarily. But here on Smith Mag, we give people a place to take part in the stories of their time in a personal way. So that was 8 years ago when it started. And since then, we've had 1 million 6-word memoirs, we've had books and t-shirts, and I'm gonna dramatically undress in a minute and show you another t-shirt. And that's the least interesting part of the project. As the project grew, others were using it in their own communities, ways that made sense to them. So priests and rabbis saw the 6-word form as a way to get to the essence of complex questions of faith. Suicide prevention centers and speed dating sessions used the 6-word tool as a way to spark communication, spur self-expression, or simply break the ice. I want to take you just a couple of these places where 6 words have become a tool before we bring it right here today at Marianne. So, there we go. Now, Google Alerts are awesome. And they told me what was happening out there in the world with 6 words. Ideas I'd never thought about. And the most amazing thing for me was the teachers were using 6 words as a teaching tool. So the first time I was ever invited to speak anywhere was at my nephew's 3rd grade classroom. I was nervous. You think you guys are scary? 40 beady little eyes staring at me, hanging on my every word. I hope some of you are spacing out, thinking about your own 6-word memoir. And that day we talked about storytelling. And we went around, we shared their 6-word memoirs. And they made me, well, our first book of 6-word memoirs called Not Quite What I Was Planning, 6-word memoirs by writers famous and obscure. The first person that tells me a great 6-word memoir on their life after this talk gets this book. Their book is called Not Quite What We Were Planning, 6-word memoirs by Mrs. Nixon's 3rd grade class. And I want to share a few today. Look mean, be nice to everyone. Not bad code for prison, really. Years, always the same mood. And here's my little Zen master, Emily. Life is better in soft pajamas. We may not figure that out our whole lives, and she's got it down already. But there's been so many 6-word memoirs on the site and so many from different schools across the world, but I want to share this one to you because this one means more and more to me every time I look at it. So, young Nava Creever tells us, bears are my #1 fear. But she has considered the perspective of the bear, who says, humans are my #1 fear. But I think about this one all the time, because I think what Nava's saying, whether she realizes it or not, but I bet she does, because those 9-year-olds are smart, is that when you know the bear, and you know the bear's story, maybe the bear isn't so scary. Yeah, let's go to the next one. There we go. So, there are 2 important words for the project I want you to think about. Spark and essence. These are all from veterans. Ask a veteran what happened at war, and you may very well get one of 2 answers. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to end. So working with veterans groups, we say, look, you're not sure what to say, what happened? Let's just start with 6 words. Not sure where to, too much? Bring it down to 6 words and let's open it back up. It's a way to start hard conversations. And we're going to talk about that in a second, but what happens at these meetups with veterans is that they start with the 6 words, then they tell the backstory. And conversations begin. There we go. 1 year ago, in this very room, some of the men from Marion Correctional shared their own 6-word memoirs. How about that guy? And I feel like the military and prison are 2 things that everyone has an opinion about. but very few people have an intimate relationship with. I mean, lots of people do, but those with opinions often don't. But when you talk to a veteran, when you talk to someone in prison, someone who's gotten out of prison, when you talk to a CO, you actually have an intimate understanding of someone else's life. And if 6 words is the way in, then use that as a tool. There we are. 3 more words for you. Tell me more. Spark, start that conversation. Essence, sum that up. Community, bring this 6-word tool into the community to talk among yourselves or to convey your message to the outside world. And a good 6-word memoir should work in and of itself. Ex-wife and contractor now have house. We get that. But I love it when a 6-worder sparks the question we all want to hear. Tell me more. And today, 4 guys are going to start with their 6 words on fatherhood, being a father, with the experience of being a son. And they're going to tell you a little more. Before that happens, I want to tell you one story of my own. Well, the t-shirt I wear today, brace yourself, ladies. You're doing some yoga. The t-shirt are 6 words I wrote, which are parenting, idiot, expert, idiot, I'm never going to figure this out. But the 6 words I want to share today about being a father are 6 words someone else told to me. A buddy of mine named Michael was one of the first guys in my kind of close friend-knit group to have a kid. So this kid's like 9 by the time my kid was about 10, 11 months old. And I was saying, Michael, you know, he's 10, he's about 10 months old, and God, what's it like being a dad? And he said, you man, 10 months old, such a sweet age. You know what, Larry? All they want is your time. And I think about that. I think about that when I'm, mucking around with my iPhone, wishing I could do something else. And I think about that when I think about the stories that you'll hear from these guys today about how they make their time work with their fathers and their sons. And that making that time work isn't necessarily about being in the same room. It's about making it work the way you can and making it meaningful. And so, before we hear from them, I just want to thank you for your time. And leave you with this from George Takei, our Star Trekkie and amazing storyteller. Share your story, change the world. Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. I'm going to show you, we're running out of time for this class. I'm going to show you one more thing. This is a kind of an overview of the project.
Crash course gray on, yeah.
What if you had just 6 words to tell the story of your life? That's a question I've been asking people for 9 years. 6 becomes 9, and now I'm saying, what if you had just 6 words? 6 words to tell the story of your life. Oh, you can't tell the story of your life in 6 words? I beg to differ. Ex-wife and contractor now have house. Married by Elvis, divorced by Friday. My 6-worder, big hair, big heart, big hurry. I asked the team what his 6-word was. Aspiration, colonize Mars, you're not invited. Living my dream, please send money. 6 words can help you get the essence of who you are and what matters most. With big hair, anything is possible. Mom's Alzheimer's, she forgets. I remember. Cursed with cancer, blessed with friends. 6 words is not the end of the story. 6 words is the start of the story. If you hear 6 words you like from someone, a stranger, a friend, over the dinner table in church, ask them 3 more words. Tell me more. Hemingway was once challenged to write a whole novel in just 6 words. For sale, baby shoes never worn. True? False? We don't know. It's a legend, but that's the origin story. Take that origin story of Hemingway, make it your own. I call it the 6-word memoir at 6wordmemoirs.com. 6 words to describe your life. A moment, the whole Megillah, a part of it, the life you want to lead, the life in your city, in your family, in your work, in your home, in your faith. 6 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your life story in just 6 words. You can do it. You like it? Write 5,000 6-word memoirs, 10,000 6-word memoirs. Many people do it at 6wordmemoirs.com. Don't like it? Cross it off. Start another one. Make revisions. Put the 6 best words in the best order. 6 words. Your life, your story, one life, 6 words. What's yours?
Okay, So, what do y'all think? What do you, does it make sense? What do you think?
I like it.
It's cool.
So what's fun? So I'm going to give you, we'll get into this some more because I want to go over some more examples and talk about it tomorrow. I'll give you some prompts like, you know, one of them I can already tell you will be, you know, COVID-19. Sum that up in 6. Another, I try to mix it up each year. So I'll come up, you know, I always usually do being a teenager. Sum that up in 6. So I'm going to give you a list of prompts, which you'll write your 6s. That'll be assignment number 1. And then you're going to pick your favorite and also one that you think you can turn into visually and turn that into a 6-word video. The reason I love this is because, first of all, and that's why I call it like a brain teaser. When you're sitting there with your prompt, it's almost like playing with words and like, okay, what's the best way I can do it? And when you get a good one, it's like this eureka, like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, it's a really cool feeling. So I hope you have fun with this. I hate that you're not here because I bought his board game too. So we usually play a game with it, but it's really, really fun. So look at it as like a fun brain teaser challenge. And then, as I said, it'll be our first way to put a video together and match in just worrying about a video that's only 6 seconds long, or not 6 seconds long, 6 shots long. That'll be a really short video. So with that, again, that's just sort of our introduction. We're going to talk about it more tomorrow. I'll show you some of the videos to get you inspired as well. But that's it for now. And so I'm going to give you your break, and then we will come back at 9:20. And then just a reminder, if you have not turned in your photography, your final photography assignment on your Spark Journal, get that submitted to me so I can get those posted for all of us to do peer review. So are there any questions before I wrap up? All good? Okay, well, I will see you in 10 minutes for our studio class.